They say great science is built on the shoulders of giants. Not here. At Aperture, we do all our science from scratch. No hand-holding. Not you, test subject. You're doing fine.
You know, for a game that talks a lot of shit, it can back itself up pretty well. I mean, seriously, what other game do you know where the game just constantly talks shit to you through the whole game? Got to get pissed off.
And it's so passive-aggressive, too.
It is.
It's kind of like if Jason was a woman who just follows you around and talks shit to you all the time.
I know. It's like it's
like having a mother-in-law.
It is. It's like having a mother-in-law or the fucking ghetto wife. You ain't shit. You ain't gonna be shit. You can't do shit. You know, it's just like, Jesus, man.
Oh, it must be nice to be able to fill out those pants.
Negro,
don't nobody want you. I hardly wanted you. I'm sorry for you.
I would pay for that DLC, the urban GLaDOS.
The urban GLaDOS game? Yeah. Negro, you can't solve this puzzle. You too stupid. You ain't even got no job. How you gonna solve a Portal game? Well, actually, we're talking about Portal 2, which is the sequel to the very successful, surprisingly successful game Portal, which came out on the Orange Box. What year was that came out?
Oh, it's like 4 years ago?
Yeah, about 4 years ago. Yeah, 3 or 4 years ago.
I got a bone to pick with the game about that.
What?
We pay $60 and we get Half-Life, Team Fortress, Portal, and wasn't there one other on there?
No, it was those three. Well, you got Half-Life and Half-Life 2, yeah.
Half-Life 2, Portal, Team Fortress 2, okay, for the price of like $60. What did I pay for Portal 2? $60. Was there Team Fortress 3 on there? No. Was there Half-Life 3 on there? No. It's like, oh, guess who's real big for their britches now? They think they're all fancy, charging full price.
Oh, look at Mr. Portal, fancy fans. Yeah, well, listen, man. Portal 2 gives you more of what you loved about the first game, because Portal was, I mean, I think for even Valve, who are the developers for this game, it was a surprising hit for them because it was a very short, very small puzzle game. Had some great writing in it and a pretty much just ingenious puzzle solving concept behind it. Because if you're not familiar with the game, it's basically like this. You have a gun. It shoots two things. It shoots blue hole, that's one portal. It shoots the orange hole, that's another portal. When you go, depending
don't go in the brown hole.
Don't go in the brown hole. But depending on what wall or surface that you put your portals on, if you go in one, you come out of another, and these are used to help you solve certain puzzles that are throughout the game. And by the way, I'm so rude. Oh my gosh, I am the brown hole here because I'm the asshole. I forgot to introduce our lovely co-host here. I am joined by Mr. Professor Jeff.
I love testing.
Yeah, because you test my goddamn nerves half the time. We have the Murph, Jason Murphy.
Hey, what's going on?
How you doing, sir? Good to see you. Good to see you. We have Kevin J. Baird.
Hello.
Hello. How are you? You sound like GLaDOS. Hello. And then, last but certainly not least, we have Nicky Poo, a.k.a. Nick Hodges, a.k.a. Ass Crusher Nick. How you doing, Nick?
The crusher of ass.
What was that, cheeky bugger?
Hey, what portals have you been into lately, Mr. Ass Crusher?
Oh, I'll tell you. I'll tell you about that a bit later.
Okay, all right.
Corey makes it sound like glory holes when he says it.
Well, hey, yeah, his penis goes in one stall, comes out the other end. He ends up like sticking him own self in the ass.
Truck driver on the other side.
well, to be honest, if I was in the world of Portal, I would definitely try that at least, you know. Well, yeah, well, think about it. You got a gun and you're just stuck in this world. You'd be, you know, curious about it after a while, you know, just like, oh, what could I do with this portal gun?
That's why they made the main character a woman. They couldn't do it with a guy because a guy's natural instinct would have been, I'm going to put my penis in it.
Yeah, and see what happens. This would be the only time I'll have to have sex with myself if I do it right, you know, so. With Portal 2, we're given a lot more backstory because in the first Portal, you are in a facility, the Aperture Science Research Center. And there's a lot of mystery behind it. All you know is that you're in this testing facility, and there's this smart-ass evil robot with a female voice who is constantly hounding you and teasing you. Now, who would have thought that Portal 2 would have been one of the not only best reviewed games that we have so far this year, but also one of the best written for a puzzle game? And Kevin, you know the guy that wrote this, right?
Yeah, well, Eric writes the dialogue and the script. He's like the face of Portal 2 right now. Yeah.
Hey, man, hats off to that guy because he's done a lot with what potentially could have been very little. You return as Chell, who was the silent heroine from the first game, who was once again put through a series of puzzling and often life-threatening tests. You are again at the deserted Aperture Research Facility. And during these tests, you are hounded by GLaDOS again. And GLaDOS is the evil robot that we've been talking about, who was destroyed in the first game, but has come back to life in this game. And that bitch is mad. You know, you thought she was talking shit before. She's talking crazy shit right now.
And when she first sees you, you dripping with this.
She doesn't want to kill you. She just wants you to do tests for the rest of your life, and that's fucking evil, you know?
Yeah, she is. But you know what? She doesn't like you. Yeah, when she sees you, she's like, oh, yeah, you that woman that destroyed me in the first game. But she doesn't let that bias get in the way of her testing, except for, like I said, her constant veiled threats and her sarcasm. Not only does she talk a lot of shit, but she talks shit and auto-tune. You know, it's like, if you thought that was bad before, I'm just going to spoil the game. At the end of the game is Kanye West, who's GLaDOS. Just comes out of nowhere. No.
The T-Pain add-on for Portal 2.
It's T-Pain.
I'm going to let you finish this test. But first, I have to say that the last test was the greatest test of all time.
See, a lot of people have said that how could they have made a sequel out of the first game? And miraculously, they pulled it off. I think that that's kind of misleading because being that there was so little to the first game, which what little they had was great, but there was so little that they had. You know, there was still a mystery to the story. There was hardly any story to begin with. You only had one character who was talking to you most of the time. And so they've expanded on all those small parts of the first Portal and just made them more grandiose in this one. For example, we are getting more back information about the Aperture Research Center. And you're also given more characters in this game. One of the best characters, I think, that starts out the game is Stephen Merchant, who is Wheatley, a little spherical robot, not to be confused with the co-host 3000, who is sort of who is your aide throughout most of the game. Consider him like a talking companion cube because you do form a bond with this character who he's trying to tell you where you are, what you've woken up into, who wants to help you defeat GLaDOS and escape her and probably escape the facility.
Most test subjects do experience some cognitive deterioration after a few months in suspension. Now, you've been under for quite a lot longer, and it's not out of the question that you might have a very minor case of serious brain damage. But don't be alarmed, all right? Although if you do feel alarmed, try to hold on to that feeling, because that is the proper reaction to being told that you've got brain damage. Do you understand what I'm saying at all? Does any of this make any sense? Just tell me, just say yes.
You have another celebrity voice in here, which is J.K. Simmons, who, what's his name? His
Cave Johnson.
Cave Johnson, who is kind of like GLaDOS in that everything he says is sort of threatening, has a black sense of humor to it. But where GLaDOS is like right up front threatening you, J.K. Simmons, Cav Johnson, is there to tell you, oh, you know what? We screwed up in this test and your life is in danger. But hey, you're going to get $60 and everything's going to be okay. So
he's much more cavalier about the danger. It's just like, well, this is science. Of course you're going to get killed. That's why you sign up. That's how science works. You know, much less malevolent, much more just like, that's how it is. You're going to die. Here's $60.
Yeah, exactly.
He starts making little cracks at you too, like, yeah, we're going to give you your $60 to put in your bindle or whatever, and you can take your hairy self and march on down the road.
Oh yeah,
like that.
I like the way
he's kind of a prick. He's kind of this cavalier, late 1960s, like he stepped off of Mad Men and decided to run tests on people.
If you're interested in an additional $60, flag down a test associate and let them know. You could walk out of here with 120 weighing down your bindle if you let us take you apart, put some science stuff in you, then put you back together, good as new.
We just know that there were loads of human test subjects, but the $60 bits, they say where they pick these people up from.
Yeah.
And I don't think they were very willing.
For a game that has such humor to it, it's very ominous and very creepy. I mean, even when you're laughing at the dialogue that's in the game, it tends to be a little scary. I mean, I don't know who did the music for this game, but the music reminds me of something like Limbo, where it's very minimalist and it's done sort of almost like a Philip Glass type score. Also, just the depressing atmosphere of the game. The Aperture facility is like dilapidated, it's torn down, and it just makes you feel like somebody put you in a wasteland. All the water is acid. You have objects that you just fall out of nowhere, and you feel like it could either drop you into this acid or things could fall on you and kill you. It's gloomy, and it's just gives you this feeling, even though you have companions in there, gives you this feeling of loneliness that kind of lends to dread. And I love the atmosphere in this game.
Well, I liked it. I thought it was a little bit short, but I think it was the right amount of balance between. It wasn't very difficult. You know, if they made it a longer game, the puzzles would have been like a lot more complicated, and then I would have been probably not finishing the game anyway. So, I mean, overall, I thought it was really good, but, you know, it goes back to what Jason was saying, that for $60, I'm not sure it was worth it, but overall, it's fun to go through it at least once.
See, Kevin, that's why I hate you sometimes, man. Because these games, I mean, the puzzles in here range from being very simple to just become frustrated. You have to walk away from a nosebleed.
Crying.
I know, crying.
I felt so smart earlier.
Yeah, you know, they range from anywhere from very easy to very difficult. I found myself having to just take a break, you know, just walk outside smoking. I don't even smoke. I'm walking the streets talking to myself. It's gonna be all right, man. It's gonna be okay. Just take some time out. Don't let it fuck with you, man. You know, but here comes Kevin. Well, you know, I just didn't like it because it wasn't that hard. You know, I could have used somewhat of a challenge. Shut the fuck up, Kevin.
Kevin's rocking back and forth like Rain Man, going, yeah, definitely too simple.
All right. It's not that crazy. I will admit I had to cheat at one point because there's one particular board where you have to back up into the previous room that you were in to solve the puzzle. And it's a weird thing because if you go through the door and you go a little bit beyond it, the door closes and you can never go back into that room again. And so, like, I would be sitting on that board going, there's got to be a way to solve this. And there wasn't, because you had to be back in the previous room to get it done. That was the only time I had to go on GameFAQs and look up a walkthrough for that. But the rest of the time, it's pretty straightforward. If you played all the way through the first one, most of the puzzles are, you know what to expect.
Yeah. I just like the way Kevin I'm just mad, Kevin, because you just made me feel dumb. That's all. I'm gonna tell you, I'm the guy that I'm not the best at these games. I'm proud of myself that I got as far as I did in 48 hours. You know, I don't know what it is. I don't test well, I guess is what it is. You know, never did, never have, probably never will. With the game, you're given so many new things than you had in the first game. So in the first, you had different things that were there to help you and hurt you. You had the turrets that were there, the little talking robots that shoot at you with the cute little voices. Are you still there? You know, and all that kind of thing. And then with this game, they give you things that offer more puzzle challenges and also offers more danger. You have some of the things returning like the torrents, but then you're given some things like the gels. You give the ones that I saw were an orange gel that helps you run faster, and then you have a blue gel that helps you to bounce. And sometimes you use those things separately to get past puzzles. Sometimes you have to combine those to get to other levels that you can't reach. You also have...
Yeah, but he forgot to mention the dodgiest looking gel of all, which is the white gel.
The white...
I mean, come on, who didn't think it looked like Spunk a little bit? You know?
Yeah, Korey, you must maybe not have gotten there yet, but there is white gel that is very suggestive.
Especially when you've got it floating through the air.
What?
Yeah, I am not making that up. I think Aperture named it Money Shot Gel.
And then you look at yourself through one of those portals and like, why is this all over my face? What happened?
Actually kind of ties into the story. Like,
it does.
It's kind of obscure if you like listen to everything that they're saying. The reason that it's that color kind of ties into part of the game later on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it something nasty?
No.
Okay. Then you have certain other things that kind of help you along, and you have like the light rays, which offer either a path to another level or offer protection from the turret bullets that shoot at you sometimes. So they do offer some variety in the gameplay by giving you more stuff to combine to help solve puzzles. But what I admired about the game is how they brought in a different style of gameplay for certain, and it's not, I don't even know if you could say it's so much gameplay as in just story. Like there's a part in the middle where they break up the story by not having you solve puzzles so much as you're just trying to escape certain parts of the facility while you have Wheatley trying to help you out. And when I was thinking about the game being worked on, because Kevin, you said it's kind of short. I hear a lot of people saying the game is too short. And I'm thinking, really, today, in this age of 3 and 4 hour shooters, people are going to get mad about a 10-hour game?
Who finished this in 10 hours? Because I'm still bloody stuck on it. So either I'm the biggest idiot in the world or, you know, you guys...
Yeah, exactly. I was like, we'll go with the first one.
I finished it at about that time. The only problem with it is that I think one of the reasons that people may be a little bit miffed at the game time is that once you've figured out those puzzles, there's no real reason to play it again. I mean, you already know the answer to the puzzles. It's not you know, unless you get a lot of enjoyment just flying through portals and whizzing around. You know, I mean, why are you going to go back and play it? You know, play it a second time through. You've heard the dialogue. You know the answer to the puzzles. You're done.
Okay, whether a game is too short or too long for you at 10 hours. When I heard that this game was going to be about as long as it is, I'm thinking, how the fuck are they going to keep me entertained with puzzle solving challenges this long? It's like, I'm going to lose my mind at the end. And they did a good job of managing to break that up with some good storytelling. Now, what you're saying, Jeff, is that, well, what's the replay value here? And when you beat the game, you've introduced the 2 new characters who are 2 robots, and the story continues with co-op play, where they tell you more about the facility and tell you more about the mystery surrounding you in the facility. Jeff, you played the co-op player with Metal Virgin. Right?
Yep. It's probably about half as long as the regular game. I mean, there's only like 5 or 6 hours worth in there, but there are some pretty diabolical puzzles to solve because you've got to use a lot of. I mean, I remember there was one in particular that I had puzzled over for a long time where the answer ends up having to set up this situation where both robots fly through the air and collide in order to stop each other and fall down onto a platform. It was just, you know, the sort of thing where I was sitting there going, what? But I'll say that it's real easy. I mean, they give you a little ping tool so that you can have your robot point it where you want the other person to put their portal, and from a split screen perspective, it was just, you know, it was fun.
Okay.
Fun, and it ties into the main story too quite heavily. Like, I don't know if I thought it was just going to be, you know, just co-op, kind of an add-on, but like it's actually a whole side story to the main story of Portal 2.
Hey, can you do something for me?
Sure.
Can you do that again? That was hot. That was kind of sexy.
What?
Make them all
I have to
white gel.
I have
over
to
here.
think about being perplexed again.
I love the game. Like I said, I think that this is the perfect example of what I want to see out of a sequel. There's a story. I want more backstory that actually means something. I want you to give me stronger characters. I want you to give me bigger and stronger gameplay. I think that's what this game did. And not to mention that they did a lot with, I guess, an old engine. This is the source engine from like when they did Half-Life, like back in 2004, right?
Yeah, it's the same engine they used for Half-Life 2. But yeah, the source engine's looking nice in this game.
There is a lot going on just visually. I mean, when the very beginning of the game is amazing. You wake up in a facility and you look like you're in a hotel room with sunlight coming through, and you realize that your whole room is part of this huge factory, and it gets picked up, and Wheatley is trying to help you escape. And to help you escape, he's got to pound this room into a wall. And while he's doing that, the whole place is falling apart. The walls are coming down. Everything is becoming torn and turned into debris. And it's a lot happening at one time. And that's what you see throughout the whole game. You walk into a room and GLaDOS is making things come alive. There's gears everywhere. There's pivots and arms and robotic stuff happening. And it's just it's an amazing visually active game. By the way, did anybody get a glitch in that game? Like I got 2 glitches. I love to name glitches in games. One of them is probably just my copy is bad, and one of them I ran into a problem where I had to start the game over.
I was in this one room where you can't shoot portals on black walls, and there was just this one room where everything was black apart from one door, and I couldn't open the door. So I just spent about, I don't know, like an hour trying to figure out where it was until I figured out it was a glitch and just started back. But that really pissed me off because I just thought the game was fucking with me at that point. You know, in terms of buzzing.
Well, how about those portals that won't let black people go through them? It's a very racist game, too. So, you shoot that portal in the back, and you go in that way.
Yeah, it's true. You can only shoot portals on white objects. You know? Maybe there'll be a ghetto edition in a few years.
Waiting for it. Wow, man, why it's got to be ghetto when it has black people in it, huh? Oh,
yeah, have rims on your portal gun.
The glitch that I had, the first one that I had, I think is I have a bad copy of the game. All of a sudden, all of the pipes and girders started looking like candy canes. Like they were on like just rainbow colors everywhere I went. First of all, GLaDOS is messing with you so much that I didn't know if that was part of the game messing with me or if that was a glitch. I didn't know if she was, right. I didn't know if she wanted to like rate me. Hey, little boy, do you like candy? I was like coming up to the screen and ready to lick it. Yes, I do. No, wait, no, please, no. The other glitch that I got was I was stuck in one room and I was trying, and this is when you get like way into the facility. I just could not figure out what I was supposed to do. So I just started jumping on everything and jumping around on anything that looked like a platform. And there was one part where I jumped into the center of like these girders and I caged myself and I couldn't get out. And it's so funny too because it's like the hole is as big as as my body in the game. It is right there in front of me, but because there's like one bar right at my ankles, I can't step over it. Overall, it feels stupid, and puzzle games perplex you, and you just want to shoot at stuff besides shooting portals at a wall. Then this is probably not the game for you because it is one long puzzle game. But really, I love this game. And I wasn't even crazy about the first Portal. I liked it, but it didn't like make me run down the street like Portal's the greatest fucking game ever. But this, I'm like, wow, this is a pretty amazing game. If I like want to get real nitpicky, I could say maybe a little more variety in gameplay. But hey, you know, they do the best with what they have. It's the second game, loved it. So I would definitely go out and buy this game at a full price at $60. Glad to spend my money on this game.
I thought it was genius. I mean, the writing was clever. I don't think I've ever found myself laughing out loud at a game as much as I did this. I mean, I was regularly laughing at all the writing and everything. The characters were actually really compelling and interesting as far as the different AIs that you interact with. And yeah, graphics were great. The puzzles were challenging, frustrating at times, but yeah, it was an excellent game. I all around, and I haven't even tried the multiplayer yet. So this is really one of the best games I've played in a while.
When I first saw that it was coming out, I was a little disappointed that we were back in the Aperture Science Research Center. But in spite of that, they really managed to vary it up and give it its own identity, different from Portal 1. And yeah, I mean, it's just really solidly enjoyable from start to finish. Never too hard, never too easy. Co-op is a good add-on. So I'd probably say that if you're really good at these games, you might want to wait and get it on, you know, like a low buy, see if you can get $10 off or something on Steam. Other than that, no, great game.
And it's also, the ending is hilarious and crazy.
Yes, absolutely.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, you know, if you're sitting around wishing a game was longer, then that probably means that the game itself is really good. So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely a full price pickup. You know, it's $60. It is a little short, but, you know, maybe for some people it's really long, apparently. So I don't know, but I really
dumbasses like me.
Yeah.
It is the most excruciating 10 hours of my life.
Well, I thought it was probably the most original first-person shooter I've ever played. I played Portal 1 briefly, but this just I thought was extremely imaginative, and the puzzles weren't too complicated at some parts that it was really frustrating, but it took me longer than, let's say, Kevin with his Ivy League education. Whatever.
Yeah, all right.
You know, as we sit around talking about this game, the most obvious question is, what would you use a portal gun for? Because, I mean, thinking about it, this portal gun has the means to do some really not only evil stuff, but just some nasty stuff. I mean, I
mean, you know, obviously, the first thing you would do is stick your dick through it, right?
Well, that's what I'm talking about. We've already covered that. We know that as guys, we would do that. Why we would want to make masturbation more complicated, I don't know. But for some reason, we would if we had a portal gun. I'd be the most childish person with this gun. I mean, I'm trying to think of like nice things that I could do with this, and I just don't know. I'd use it to like grab women's asses and not get caught. I'd grab it to like wait for people to sit on the toilet and make holes for them to shit on their own heads. You know, things like that. I just
You just turned into a little gremlin.
Yeah. Well, what would you guys use it for? Once we remove dick from the equation, everybody's silent. People have nothing.
I can't think about it. I can't think of anything else.
Yeah, I was like, well, I got nothing.
I think we can put our differences behind us. For science. You monster.